Greetings, I'm Jason and welcome to the very first edition of Comic Book Catch Up. This is a new video by me, and what I thought I'd do, from time to time I tend to get back into a series and I'll read a bunch of issues, and I thought rather than put them in my review videos, I'd do a separate video just looking at those issues that I reviewed. Today in our very first edition we are going to look at Original Sin. We're going to look at issue 0 to issue 5, as well as a couple of the tie-ins. We've got Hulk vs Iron Man issue number 1, but it's also counted as Original Sin 3.1, and then also you have got Nova issue number 18. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. And as always, we start at the beginning and we kick this bad boy off with Original Sin issue 0. It seems to be the thing that's all in vogue today, that we have these zeros and these 0 point something issues and 0.1s and all of this confusing numbering systems that they do today. And sometimes, you know, the 0 issues are good, because to me a 0 issue should take place before issue 1. It should be something. So if you're having issue 1 and the guy's already got his powers, you could have issue 0, show how he got his powers, you know. It should take place before the first issue. Sometimes, like Justice League United, the 0 issue is basically issue 1, and you're thinking, why did they do that? But in the case of a book like Original Sin, they get it spot on. This very much takes place before the events of the main story, and its main purpose is just to introduce people to the Watcher, and in some ways to make us care about him a bit more before they kill him. The story shows through the eyes of Nova, and he, you know, has met the Watcher from time to time, and he wonders, why does he do that? Why does he watch us all? Well, why? And he asks some of the other heroes, and they don't know. They said, we never thought to ask. So, of course, Nova goes and he asks Uatu, the Watcher, why? And what we get is the origin story of the Watchers. And I don't know if we've ever had this before. I've certainly never read it before, but they've been around so long. Sure, there's part of me that thinks surely we must have had the origin of the Watchers at some point. But yeah, it's a really good origin story. Nothing, you know, too mind-blowing. It's fairly straightforward why they do what they do. But through telling of this origin story, it creates a bond. There's a moment that really bonds Nova to the Watcher. And also in many ways you could say humanizes us and makes us care a bit about him, because I've always thought that the Watcher was a bit of a creepy kind of dude. You know, he's this guy sitting on the moon watching us all day, doing whatever. I've always found that a bit creepy. But this story did a really good job of like humanizing him and showing why he has this sense of duty to do what he does. I really liked how it was written. Nova was a really engaging character. I really liked how Nova was written. I liked the Watcher was written. The art was good. All in all, I just really loved this. If you've missed this one, you don't need it to enjoy the main story. There's nothing in here that kind of relates to the main story. Like I say, the main purpose of this is to introduce the Watcher. So I think if you've not read much Marvel and you don't know who the Watcher is, I think this is good. Or you don't know the origin, I think this is a good issue to pick up. Otherwise, if you're just interested in the main story, you're not losing nothing by reading this, other than missing a good comic. Because I personally really enjoyed it, and I give issue 0 5 stars out of 5. That was like my little kind of pause. I thought I'd add a bit of dramatic tension by like doing a little pause before I give the ratings. We'll see how that goes. It might get annoying, or it might add tension. I don't know. Anywho, getting back on to what we're here for, talking about the comics. We have Original Sin issue number 1. And this is, I didn't realise until I bought this from my comic shop, it is a $4.99 book. This was $4.99, which, like I say, for the price, it hasn't really got anything in it that, it's a good book, but it hasn't got anything in it I felt justified at that price. This does feel thicker, and they do make a lot of use of the story. Basically the Watcher gets killed. He's been shot in the head and his eyeballs have been stolen. And so Captain America, Wolverine, Black Widow and the original Nick Fury are discussing the best stakes they've had when Thor contacts them to tell them what's happened to the Watcher. Captain America asks for Nick Fury's help to kind of uncover who's done this and why. Or at the same time, some mysterious figure puts together these teams. We have Winter Soldier, Gamora and Moon Knight going off into space. We have the Punisher and Doctor Strange going to Mystical realms, and we have Emma Frost, Black Panther, and Ant-Man going underground. So, but we don't know who's put these teams together or why. And then we see the Thing and Spider-Man, and they're battling this creature called a Mindless One, who I've not encountered before. But apparently they're not supposed to have anything on their brain, and this guy is full of thoughts, and he's holding the Ultimate Nullifier. Now, when the Watcher got killed, somebody also went through his armory, so now it's looked like he's got the Ultimate Nullifier. The Watcher had that, so he's their first suspect. But unfortunately, he kills himself. He gets killed. So we then end the issue with we learn something about one of the eyeball, where the eyeball is, and some mysterious figure. I like the first issue, and I'm sorry if I've been too in depth there. I usually like try and keep things vague, but I think I might have kind of been too much information. But the first issue, I liked it. It set up the overall mystery, and I really like the idea of a murder mystery with superheroes. I like that kind of idea. The story itself is good. It sets everything into place, everything into motion. It doesn't blow you away, but it builds a solid foundation to build the story onto. And you know, the art by is it Mike Diagado? I really like his art. I thought that was really good all the way through. Really cool to have Nick Fury back, and the teams they put together are going to be interesting. But yeah, I thought it was a solid first issue, and I would give it 4 stars out of 5. Ah, damn! I forgot my pause for dramatic tension. I'll remember. Next up, we have issue number 2, and it is Original Sin. Well, of course it's Original Sin, that's what we're reviewing. Get your mind going, Jason. So yeah, issue number 2, and this issue we get the reveal of who had that eyeball. But before we get to that point, we see that these two mysterious characters have all these mindless ones, and they're not mindless anymore, they've got thoughts on their brain. We then follow our teams as they're kind of investigating on trying to discover, you know, what, because they don't know why they've been sent to the places they've been sent to, and of course it ends up the heroes manage to track down where the mindless ones have been kept, and they all attack, and they back with this woman called the Exterminatrix, who is a character I've never uncovered before. Here she is jumping out of a window. The Exterminatrix, which I've never heard of her before, but she jumps into battle and she seems pretty badass, taking on like this big gang of superheroes, which is pretty cool. And then the end of the issue, we get the big reveal of who's got the eyeball, and it's a character that Jason Aaron has used before. I really enjoyed this one. I always judge a comic if I get to that last page and I want that next comic now. Then you've done a fantastic job. That's perfect, because that's the way I should feel when I put a book down. I should want to read the next issue. So I feel that this for me was fantastic, because I put it down and I really wanted to go to the next one, which is good. The reveal, I can understand some people might be a bit disappointed because he isn't really an A-League kind of player. A character who in the past has been a bit of a comical character. So yeah, I could understand people being upset with that. But like, I think the thing with it is it makes it obvious why this character would have the eyeball. It's his thing, eyeballs, and you know, so I liked how that fitted in, and I thought that for me anyway, made sense. The story itself, like I say, I thought all our different stories. Still, there's a lot of mystery going on, but I'm really curious and interested to see what's going on. Once again, Mike Diagado's art is brilliant, and yeah, all in all, I'm liking what they're weaving at this point, and I'd give issue number 2 of Original Sin, Dramatic Tension, 5 stars out of 5. Yes, I remembered the Dramatic Tension. Anywho, now we're on to issue number 3, and this is the doozy of an issue. This is where the shit hits the fan, if you're part of my language. So basically, this character with the eyeball, we learn that the eyeball is a storage device. Is that they're able, the Watchers, that everything they see, it's stored in the eyeball, which makes sense. I don't know if this is something that they've genetically engineered or some ability they had that made them perfect to be Watchers, but yeah, that is really, I thought it was a really cool wrinkle to add in. Anyway, this character that's got the eyeball, who I'm not going to name because I don't want to spoil it, but he manages to blast the heroes. He activates the Eibon and it blasts the heroes with secrets. So all these secrets that they've got, or secrets about them, they suddenly learn. And yeah, it's a pretty badass kind of weapon. It doesn't stop our mysterious character getting taken in, but it does kind of dissipate the heroes, as they're all off doing their own things now. Captain America says we haven't got many left because people have just gone off. So the Nick Fury's got the Hulk and Wolverine, and they're going to interrogate our mysterious character. Meanwhile, all our different teams are finding dead bodies that have been shot with these irradiated bullets. And our team on this alien planet make an even bigger kind of discovery. And then at the end, we get this big deal, this really the ending is just awesome. You're like, what? At the end, it is really good. Fantastic twist that comes in, and wow. You're already thinking, because of who the character is, of ways they can get around this. But yeah, I just really loved this issue. I thought there was just so much going on. The story's just really cranked up and going forward. You know, in the past, Marvel have had stories where they've kind of been very slow and drawn out. And in the past, a story like this, they would have gone off and looked at all the different heroes and what's happening with them, with all these secrets. But what I like about this story is it's been very focused. If you want to find out about them secrets, you can buy the tie-in issues. But the main story, which is a murder mystery, they're keeping on course, and I really like. It feels like Marvel have learned from the mistakes of Age of Ultron, and that they're making their stories much more focused. And the tie-ins actually have a point, because you can pick them up to find out about these secrets, so it pushes stories elsewhere. But the main story is so I think this is a really good idea for an event, and I like what they're doing. The character I find interesting in here is the Punisher. I've just kind of jumped back on his monthly series, and the character they write in here is a bit different. He's a lot more psychotic and a lot less likable, I find. He and Doctor Strange do make a badass team, and I really like the two of them together. But the Punisher in here is not as likable a character, a lot more psychotic. And I don't know if that's because just that's the way Jason Aaron writes him, or if for a monthly series they have to tone it down a bit, else he wouldn't be a sympathetic character that we could follow. I don't know which it is, but yeah, he seems a very different character here, the Punisher. Not as likable. Not that he's ever been nice and cuddly, but you know what I mean. I can empathise with him a lot more in his ongoing book than I can in here. But anywho, I really enjoyed this issue. The art remains really great from Mike Deodato, and yeah, all in all, another really good issue. And I give issue 3 of Original Sin 5 stars out of 5. So now we get to our first of our crossings. Now at the top it says number 1, Hulk vs Iron Man. But at the bottom it says Original Sin 3.1. So I'm gathering, because this is where the secrets come out, so this is where this fits in. Basically what this is it's a mini, and what we have is Hulk has learnt that Iron Man was something to do with him becoming the Hulk. And so the story initially starts with the Hulk in modern day trying to kick the crap out of Iron Man, so they're having this fight. We then get the flashback to them when they were both younger, before Tony Stark became Iron Man and before Bruce Banner became the Hulk. And basically Tony Stark, you know, thinks that Banner could use this gamma bomb, could be more weaponized, that he's toned it back. And basically Banner shows him up, and then we get the reveal at the end of something that Tony Stark does. I liked this. I thought it was well written. I think the characters were very consistent with where they were way back when, and so that I thought that was really well written with where they are today and where they are then. So I thought that all worked really well. Tony Stark's actions seemed just like Tony Stark would do at that point in his life, the same as Banner. The art, I go back and forth. I think there's some good art, but I just felt the flashback scenes, it would have helped them if they'd looked a bit more kind of retro. I think would have been a great touch, whether they coloured them different or drew them slightly different or what. I just think it would have really helped you kind of jump into the past. But all in all, I thought this was a good first issue. Whenever you kind of affect people's origins, you're on a bit of shaky ground. but it does seem like this is going to make for an interesting story. And who knows, they can always retcon it at some point that this didn't happen. But yeah, I'm curious to see where this goes. A bit nervous as well, but I enjoyed the first issue, thought it was well written, and issue number 1 of Hulk was Iron Man, or issue number 3.1 of Original Sin, whichever way you want to call it, I'd give it 4 stars out of 5. And by the way, if you're reading the main story, you don't need to buy this tie-in. You only need to buy this tie-in if you're interested in the story of like Hulk and Iron Man. This is no ways connected to our main Original Sin story. That's the one good thing that I think they've done with the crossovers this time round. So now we're jumping back into Original Sin with issue number 4. After our big reveal at the end, after our big twist at the end of last issue, everybody's really hating on Winter Soldier. You know, it's like, I didn't like Winter Soldier. Anywho, all of our teams that have been finding these dead bodies suddenly come together, and we get some answers from what happened last issue and why it happened, before it leads to another big reveal again at the end. I do like that this story does feel like it's constantly moving forwards. I'm trying to find a page to kind of share with you that doesn't spoil anything, but unfortunately I can't. But the art once again is really great. This issue really focuses more on all these teams that have been put together and gives us answers to the last issue. Not as great as the last issue, but it does start giving us answers, and the story still feels like it's moving forward, and that's something that I gotta applaud. Every issue feels like it's built, it's another block that's building. But yeah, like I say, not as exciting as previous issue, but still good. I'd give issue number 4 of Original Sin 4 stars out of 5. So now we're on to this week's issue. This came out at the time of recording. This came out this week. Issue number 5. What is the Unseen? So this issue, after our big reveal at the end of last issue, we now get our answers, and this issue gives a lot of answers. And in some ways, it kind of there's still a lot. For me at least, it created a lot more questions as well, which maybe sometimes the best answers are the ones that provide more questions. So we meet this character, the Unseen, and I'm not going to reveal his identity, but he's basically been protecting the Earth all these years in secret, taking out these different threats, you know, that even the other heroes didn't know about. And being the person that it is, it makes total sense how they could have done this. Even when the people that knew about him have all died, he carries on doing his mission, and all these bodies that they found are this person's handiwork, that all these threats that he took out before they could threaten the Earth. So now the question has to be, you know, somebody's like copying him, either copying him, or there's going to be a twist that he is the killer. I don't know, but yeah. So it gives us some answers, but like I say, it provides more. The story still feels like it's moving forward. We get a lot of answers here. It's good to see everything is becoming, like, we're over halfway now. Things do feel like they're coming together, so I think that's good. It doesn't feel as yet we're really any closer to finding the murderer, but it does at least give us some more questions to where the answers to those questions could maybe reveal the murderer. So yeah, once again, I enjoyed this. I don't think it reached the highs of issue 3, but it's still a really interesting story. I'm hoping we're going to get more maybe into the murderer. For all I know, we could have met the murderer already, and we've just not seen that. But it provides a lot more answers, and it shows that some of the things we're following could have been red herrings. But yeah, I'm liking how this is building. Not as great as the issue 3 high point, but still is a story that's building well, and give Original Sin issue number 5 4 stars out of 5. So finally now, we have Nova issue number 18. This is Original Sin, as you can see, a tie-in issue. This issue is set, I'd say, around issue 3 of Original Sin. Well, probably a bit before there as well. Basically, we get to see the first 3 issues of Original Sin through the eyes of Nova. What was Nova doing during those issues? With him being so close to the Watcher, you know, how did he learn the Watcher was dead? So we get to see all of those events. So it does feel in that way a bit repetitive, but at the same time, it is cool to see those events from Nova's point of view, though it does unavoidably feel a bit repetitive in places. There's some really good running jokes with the Thing, who makes a cameo in here, which I really liked. And then at the end, when the secrets are unleashed, we see how this affects Nova and what secret is revealed to him. And it's a secret that shakes him to the very core. It's the very core of why he is Nova. And it really leaves the book at an interesting point to see where we're going to go next with this character and with the book. So yeah, I thought this was fantastic. I really loved this. Thought it was well written. Like I say, it does feel a bit repetitive because what we read before, but where it leaves the story I thought was brilliant, and just really makes me eager to get the next issue of Nova. And that's the thing about these tie-ins, people might pick them up because I want to see, well, what's that secret, and what you've got to do then once you get them, you've got to hook them, and this book definitely hooked me. So yeah, I would give Nova issue number 18 4 stars out of 5. So that's me done. That's the first edition of Comic Book Catch Up History. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hoped it was informative. Overall, in conclusion, I'd say I'm enjoying the Original Sin Advent. I think it's a really cool idea to do like a murder mystery, and I'm really loving everything about how they're doing this Marvel. Some of the numbering has with the Hulk versus Iron Man story is a bit confusing, but other than that, I really like what they're doing here, and so far I think it's been a good event, and I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going to go in the final 3 issues. So that has been my catch up on Original Sin. Once again, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please give me those lovely beautiful thumbs up and click the like button. I've been Jason. This has been the very first, the premiere, the debut edition of Comic Book Catch Up. Bye for now.